How big of a snub was Pikachu? Now, this is in reference to Pikachu on Nintendo characters, because neither of us had Pikachu on Nintendo characters. I think Carlo brought up a good point on this that I might have cut out of the video. Do you remember what it was? I remember what it was. A refresher. I thought it was a good analogy for what Star Wars and Disney.
Okay.
It's like Darth Vader.
Yeah, the fact that he was adopted, that it's not that you don't think of Pikachu as a Nintendo character, but you think as Pikachu as a Pokemon who happens to have a video game, but it also has all of these other media that you can consume, per se, Pikachu. Just like Star Wars, you don't think of Star Wars and you think, oh, it's Disney. No, it's just Star Wars. I mean, if anything, you think Lucasfilm. Maybe now you start thinking more Disney. It's been long enough, I guess, that now you start associating it more. But as far as what Pikachu represents, I don't go directly to Nintendo or as a Nintendo character. It's its own thing.
Yeah, I'm coming from the same place, and to be clear, I think the Star Wars example is a great one, but I will just to make sure people don't get on us for this, I will concede there is a difference in that Star Wars was its own thing for a while, and then Disney bought it, whereas admittedly Nintendo did create Pokemon. So it is truly a Nintendo thing. But the question is, do you associate it with that?
It's funny how it worked out.
Yeah, because like you said, the anime, right? The card game, and those don't have Nintendo printed on it. You don't think of that. Like, it's just Nintendo happened. I don't even know. Maybe Nintendo outsources some of that stuff because Nintendo doesn't write the Pokemon cartoon. So I don't know how that works.
Because there's no way you think of Super Mario and you don't think of Nintendo.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the face of Nintendo.
For sure. And same with Zelda and Link and Samus and Donkey Kong. Like, those are all just, like, Nintendo.
Yeah.
And Pokemon to me is, or Pikachu is Pokemon, Nintendo. Right? Like, it's 2 steps away.
2 steps to it.
Yeah, and it's sort of like, you know, we talk about this with the animal thing a lot. It's not the most iconic animal in Asia. It's the most iconic Asian animal, meaning the most iconic animal that lives in Asia to its iconicness to Asia. Not its iconicness as an animal. Its iconicness to Asia. Similarly, with this discussion, it's not the most iconic characters that happen to be owned by Nintendo, say Sonic, which I believe now is either owned or rented, because Nintendo can use it now, even though it was originally a Sega thing. So even if they did own it, right? Like, I think we would both agree, yeah, but it's a Sega thing, even if technically Nintendo owns it. But I think Sega when I think Sonic. Similarly, I think Pokemon when I think Pikachu, and I understand it's Nintendo, just like I understand that technically Princess Leia is a Disney princess. I guess. But she's not, though. Like, it's clearly, like, a Disney princess is a clearly separate thing. It's a reference to a certain type of movie, and it's almost always a cartoon, and they all have similarities. And Leia is radically different from what brings all the other Disney princesses together. In the same way that Pikachu and Pokemon are kind of its own thing within the Nintendo bubble.
And she could, well, I don't know at this point, but I think a lot of people hoped when Star Wars was first bought by Disney that they would incorporate her into all of their gamut of princesses. And it was kind of like a neat idea, but then you think, no, it is just leave her like that. And I think that they did. I don't know if in the parades that they would have Star Wars coming in. I haven't been, since they buy Star Wars, to see how they are managing that. But I think, even though I don't think that they are matches,
Yeah.
because it's a complete different thing.
Yeah. And again, to be fair, I will concede that Princess Leia to Disney is a little more separate than Pikachu to Nintendo, in that Pikachu, for example, has been a mainstay in Super Smash Brothers, which is very Nintendo, since day one. So I'll give it that. So so in summary, and you can give your take on this after this, but my take is basically Pikachu makes sense. I could entertain Pikachu in that fourth slot over, in my case, Bowser. I could entertain that. I would stick with Bowser, but I could entertain that, and I definitely will agree that, I mean, Pikachu is every bit as iconic as, Donkey Kong or Link. Yeah, maybe even more iconic on its own. I think that question is, how iconic to Nintendo is it? But
I like your picks. I think I like Donkey Kong, your Donkey Kong over my Samus.
I agree.
I would still stick with Luigi. Well, of course you agree, but I don't think I need to change it. I think it's a good Mount Rushmore.
I agree.
And if I had to replace Samus, because again, I don't think I want to replace Luigi, I would first replace it with Donkey Kong and then maybe Pikachu, if I don't go for Donkey Kong.
Still Pikachu over Bowser. Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. See, if I had to rank them, to me, the easy clear 3 is 1 Mario, 2 Link, and then this is where we start to drift apart. To me, Donkey Kong's that clear 3. And then, to me, it's, well, Bowser, obviously, since I picked Bowser. But after that, though, I would keep your Luigi before I would... So I agree with you. I would keep Luigi over Samus. And then Pikachu after Luigi, maybe? Or Pikachu before Luigi, probably. So Pikachu's maybe my that fifth one.
Okay. The more I think about it, and I hate this, I that's the part that I don't like about doing this, because then I start second guessing myself. And it's just the fact that
that's the joy of it.
When I heard, and I knew that I was snubbing Donkey Kong, but that's where Super Mario came from. So I don't know. I'll still keep it the same, but I have doubts about not having Donkey Kong.
For sure. Yes. I think we're going to revisit that one in a bit, but that was one of the more questionable picks of the season, I think. Or snubs, I guess, of the season. So this is all off of David pointing out, again, our most valuable commenter. Shout out again to David. That he, before he watched, he thought about it, which I like that. That's cool. I like to hear that. He picked Mario, Link, DK, and Pikachu, which I think is, again, very valid. I could absolutely see that list. After watching, though, I could see an argument for either Bowser or Samus to replace Pikachu, but I really can't argue with either list. I'm tracking right there with him, although I would put Luigi above Samus personally, so I guess I would change mine to, I could see the argument for either Bowser or Luigi to replace Pikachu, for me at least, but overall, I definitely agree with this. It's good stuff. Thanks, David.
Good stuff.
A great commenter.